Bonjour. Bonjour to Le Monde. How are you all doing this fine day? Hope you're all fit and well. As you can see, I've got a big smile on my face because I'm in Paris, and frankly, Paris is lovely. I'm going to say good morning to Andy Delville, who was here very early. He wasn't anywhere near as early as our man Dan Cullen, though, who was here at 8:05. I think it's 8:05 UK time rather than 8:05 here, where it is just gone 11. Just gone 11. Halfway through my day, and I'm just starting work. There is Andy Delville as well. Morning, guys. How's Paris? Paris is nice. Paris is nice, but there's always a but with these things. We arrived yesterday. We came in by a taxi yesterday, and apart from a small near-death experience for my son and their Fred, very, very seamless. You know, nice and easy to get in, nice and easy to get out. Not a problem at all. This morning, however, because the show is actually officially open today, we came in on a bus full of journalists and social media influencers. Picked us up on time, left maybe 5 minutes late, not a big deal. Then we got to within, we could literally see the exhibition hall, the Parc des Expositions out in Villepinte, I think they call it, out in the outskirts of Paris. We could see it, and there we sat for about half an hour. So what took it, I think yesterday the journey took us about 25 minutes. This morning, hour and a half. That's fun. That's a good way to start your day. So as a result of all that, this is me just preempting the fact that I've got some excuses to come. Didn't get a chance to do a script again. So I'm going to wing it again, but that shouldn't really impact anything, I wouldn't have thought. There's Dan Cullen saying, how are we all doing? Well, personally, I'm doing absolutely fine. This is how I actually communicate with my wife now. We don't speak to each other in person. I don't bother to phone her while I'm out and about in Paris. I just contact her via this. Let's have a look. Gary Muirhead's here as well. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Gang. Good morning to you, Gary. Are you all set for Scott Plant? I was speaking to somebody yesterday who is heading from here direct to Scott Plant, and they were saying that the weather at Scott Plant is looking sketchy. Hope that's not the case. Having said that, you know, Gary being a Scot, I'm sure he's built for such things. Now, I've got a question of the day, which I'll come to in just a second. But Dan Cullen has posted a question. I think it's one worth addressing. His question, as you can see on the screen there, question: has an employer got the right to watch you over CCTV while you are at work? I don't know the official answer to that. I certainly don't know the legal answer to that. But I would imagine from a health and safety perspective, is watching you over CCTV any different to watching you, having a site supervisor keeping an eye on what you're doing? I do wonder. But he then makes another point. Apparently, that's not in any written document or contract. I do wonder if it's not in contracts now, maybe you're on slightly more firm ground, and maybe they're on slightly more shaky ground as an employer. But you'd have to think that there will come a time where that will have to be disclosed. You know, we as your employer will be keeping a watching brief on what you're doing via CCTV or via telematics or whatever it might be. And when you sign on the dotted line to start your new job, you are agreeing to those terms. That could come. Who we got here as well? Jim Turner, good morning, Jim. Hope you're fit and well, my friend. And Gary Muirhead, yes, last day of work today and on the stand tomorrow. Fantastic. I hope you have as good a time at Scott Plant as we're having at Intermat. Obviously, the show is open today. I will start the show in just a second. The show has officially opened today. You're about to see, yesterday we were trying to get around to actually do some filming. Most of the stands are inside here. There's very, very small demonstration area, and most of the stands are indoors. And all of the indoor stands were still being built yesterday. So we had a bit of a roam around yesterday afternoon, trying to get some bits and pieces in the can, and I will be playing you. Well, I'll tell you what, let's do this very quickly.
Here at Intermat 2024 in Paris. Behind me, you can see the HD 605. Over that shoulder, you've got the PC 950, one of the biggest machines at the show. And if you look very carefully, you should see the top of the PC 390 High Reach Demolition -11. We'll be taking a closer look at those a bit later in the show.
Yes, Baldman has a high reach jib sticking out the top of his head. But yeah, we'll be bringing you that a bit later on. Let's have a look. Jim Turner says, nothing wrong with CCTV watching you at work. You're on their turf, so why not? Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the difference between moral excuses and legal excuses. I mean, when you walk down the high street, assuming you do walk down the high street, the chances are you are on CCTV. You don't agree to that, you just are. So I do wonder how that all pans out. Our friend Footy is here as well. And Gary Muirhead says, Dan, it's a grey area. They could say it's only to look after your safety and site safety. Yeah, that's a good point. It is a good point. I mean, they do have a bit of a, well, they have something to fall back on legally from a legal standpoint on that anyway, don't they? Now, no mystery machine today because, frankly, internet and things not exactly possible, but we do have other things to bring you, including a question of the day, which I'll be getting to in just a moment. But let's get the show started, shall we? I do want to say a very quick good morning to Chris Ford. Morning, Chris. How are you doing, my friend? Good to see you here. All beaming all the way from it is sunny. It's not particularly hot. It's not particularly warm, in fact, but I'm beaming all the way from Paris. Going back to being monitored by CCTV, but we no mention on the on-site CCTV, though. As I say, it's a grey area, and ultimately, you know, if you were to contest it, as somebody said, Jim Turner, I think, if they came back and said, well, we're just monitoring things for your own health and safety, you probably haven't got a leg to stand on, I would have thought. Gary Muirhead says, I see we finally got a look at Fred yesterday on camera. Yes, Steve Williamson snapped, caught a snap of me giggling to myself about something or other. And I can tell you, I'm going to say good morning to Ken Hatcher, by the way. Morning, Ken. I hope you're fit and well, my friend. Yes, just after we went over to see Steve Williamson just to catch up with him, make sure all was going well with Kin's offer, and it was. He's got a lovely little setup over there. But we walked away and we decided to take the drone up, and I'm hoping that Fred may actually arrive while I'm on air today so that he can fire me over the drone footage. If not, it'll be on tomorrow's show. But while the drone was in the air, Fred took a step back and ended up in a big heap on the grass. I can't repeat what he said, but it was very funny, I have to say. I'm hoping for a repeat today. Now, I did mention the fact there's no mystery machine, but we do have a question of the day. And we're sticking with our French theme that we've been running so far. Yesterday, we were looking for your favourite French dish. And in a manner of speaking, we may be looking for exactly the same answer again today. So this is our question of the day. Yes, question of the day. Who is your favourite French person? I've got two. Juliette Binoche. I've no idea what that was. Did anybody else just see balloons go up the screen? I didn't do that. I don't know what the hell that was, but balloons just went up the screen. They're welcome, but I don't know what triggered that. Yes. What was I saying? Yeah, Juliette Binoche. Gorgeous French actress. So she would be my French choice for eye candy, and my other choice would be another actor, this time a man, Jean Reno. Has anybody seen the film Leon, the professional, the hitman with the rubber plant? If you've seen that, you'll probably like Jean Reno as much as I do. Yep, saw balloons. There is nothing on this system that allows me to broadcast balloons. So I've no idea what just happened, but there you are. Gary Muirhead is straight on the case here. Fred, Sirix, I think his name is, isn't it? Fred from Gordon, Fred and Gino. Yeah, he's a star, absolutely. And Andy Darvell, Jean Reno in Leon, excellent film. Yes, it is. Although I have to say, I mean, it's a great film. It's one of my all-time favourite films. But Gary Oldman in Leon is absolutely Horrible, but absolutely brilliant. Let's have a look. Going back to are you being monitored by CCTV? Jim Turner says it's work. Just take it as a norm that you're being watched one way or another. Yeah, as I say, I mean, I said that at the very outset. Is being monitored by CCTV any different than being monitored by perhaps a site supervisor or perhaps one of your colleagues? Who knows? Mr. Andy Hare has just joined us all the way from, I'm going to take a guess because I don't know, sunny Leeds, windy Leeds, rainy Leeds. He's coming in from Leeds. Good morning to you, Andy. I hope you're fitting well, my friend. Lots and lots of attachments here. Oh, I'm surrounded by attachments. I mean, not right now, obviously, but there are attachments aplenty out in the showground. Plenty to go and look at. And there's Mark Whiting. Good morning to you, Mark. Yes, we've done our question today, so it's probably time. Oh, I just had one more comment very quickly. Gary Muirhead says, yes, Jim, if you're doing nothing wrong, you've nothing to worry about. I think that is I realise that we are the most monitored nation, and I'm saying that as a Brit rather than as a temporary Frenchman. We are the most monitored nation in the entire world. But if you're not doing anything wrong, is that a problem? Chris Ford, in my younger years, Bridget Bardot had some finer points. Yes, she looks somewhat age-ravaged now, but back in the day, Bridget Bardot, good call. Did you manage to climb the digger, or did you have to use a ladder to get in? Well, funnily enough, you will see a bit later on that here on the Komatsu stand, they've got a PC 950, so about 95, 97 ton excavator, and they've got a step. They've obviously got the normal step, but they've also got another one that folds down. Very, very smart. The other one as well on the PC 390, the HRD-11, they've put two steps in because it's not a particularly big drop, but it's a drop. But what they've also doubled it up. You know, normally on a ladder or a step, you've got a step. On the PC 390, they've got two, one in front of the other. Basically, because you know they want you to be able to find it when you're feeling around with your foot trying to get down very, very safely, but also to stop your foot going in between step and track. Very, very smart. You'll see it a bit later on. Andy Dovell, being very specific and yet not giving the game away. Question of the day. A certain French woman I met in Croatia when I was young, free and single. Many fun times were had, I can only imagine. Lou Carney, Coco Chanel, yes. Lou Carney probably watching as we speak right now in a little black dress. I'm sure she is. How's the food in Paris? You know, here's the weird thing, right? So you know how France, or Paris in particular, is the haute cuisine capital of the entire world. For convenience, when we arrived on Monday night, it was 9 o'clock at night, and didn't want to walk too far. So Fred and I went out for a burger, and we were sat next to a couple of Canadians who were in town as well. So we had a burger and fries and a good old chinwag with the Canadians. And then last night we went and had a Chinese meal. Yeah. Apart from the croissants at breakfast, I haven't eaten a single thing that is even remotely French yet. So, yeah, it's all going on. I can tell you that Fred has just arrived. So, Fred, if you would care to beam me that video that you were supposed to send me earlier, and I'll be able to show people exactly what the whole show looks like from the air. Dan Carr says, closest French person was my hottest French teacher. Seen her a few years ago in her mid-60s and still hot. Yes, lovely. Now, I will need to upload it, but we've got it in just a moment. Andy Hare says, some of the worst meals I've ever experienced have been in Paris. Bloody awful. But you did have a very good breakfast at the Ritz in Paris. Did I remember that right? I think I did. You may have just seen Fred walking through the shop there. He's running away. Good morning to everybody that's just joined us. Did you have the frog legs? I haven't had the frog legs. To be perfectly honest, I'd be, if somebody served me up some frog legs, I'd be more than happy to eat them. Not a lot of meat on them, though. Not a lot of meat. And, as you can tell, I'm not a man that diets very often. Bonjour, Fred. Yeah, bonjour, Fred. Thank you very much indeed for sending that video over. I tell you what, while we're doing all of that, I'm going to upload a film in just a moment so I can show you around. But we do need to play this first. See, I can't remember my wife's birthday, but I can remember ridiculously stupid and insignificant facts, like the fact that Andy Hare enjoyed the breakfast at the Ritz. He says that's the exception. And I'm going to say good morning to Betty Price. I have no idea who Betty Price is. I can tell you she's watching over on YouTube. But Betty Price, you are more than welcome. I don't know where in the world you are or why you're watching. Let us know. That's what we're here for. Love to hear from you. But welcome. In actual fact, just because this is what we do, don't remember seeing Betty Price here before, so let's give her welcome confetti. There you are. I know we had balloons earlier, for reasons I can't fully explain, but we've now got that. There you are. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, Betty. I hope you enjoy the show. So let me get rid of that, and I can now play you something hot and new. Not a million miles away from me, I can't actually see them from here, but not a million miles away from here, is the Takeuchi stand, and they've got something new, sexy, and mini. Have a look.
Hello, I'm David Caldwell, Product Manager with Takeuchi, and today I would like to introduce you to our TB350R short tail swing compact hydraulic excavator. The Takeuchi TB350R is available in two configurations, canopy and cab. The canopy weighs 10,980 pounds, while the cab has an operating weight of 11,235 pounds. It has over 43 horsepower and a bucket breakout force of 10,431 pounds and a dig depth of over 11 feet 8 inches. The short tail swing design of the TB350R allows the operator to focus on their work and worry less about rear swing impacts, making it ideal for working in areas with limited accessibility in applications such as construction, demolition, landscaping, and rental. Looking at the front of the TB350R, you will see that it features a long arm equipped with an integrated thumb mount and a primary auxiliary circuit plumb to mid-arm that can deliver up to 24.6 gallons per minute, making it an excellent attachment platform. Cab models will also include a second auxiliary circuit and a dedicated coupler circuit that terminates at a manifold located on the end of the arm. The top of the arm is enclosed, providing greater protection to the hydraulic lines. A heavy-duty steel boom has well-protected hoses and a boom cylinder guard for greater protection and durability. The boom swing enables the operator to dig offset to both the left and right sides of the machine without having to reposition, and when coupled with the tight tail swing design, it allows the TB350R to work in confined spaces, along walls, and structures. The TB350R features a standard backfill blade with float function, box frame design, a well-protected cylinder, as well as segmented hydraulic lines that simplify replacement. The design of this blade with its height and curvature ensures better material retention and keeps the material rolling to the front and away from the machine. Standard blade float helps with final finish and grade work, and an angle blade with bolt-on cutting edge is optional and it will angle 25 degrees to the left and right. It is ideal for backfilling and light finish work. Triple flange track rollers are standard equipment on the TB350R and provide better support of the track, which improves longevity, and they enable the track to maintain 2 points of contact, making it less susceptible to detracking. Load sensing step-down travel motors automatically shift to low range, high torque mode when turning, pushing, or traveling up an incline, and return to high speed, low torque mode when the load on the system is reduced. To adjust track tension, simply remove the steel guard to access the grease fitting on each side of the undercarriage. Proper maintenance is key to any machine's longevity. Ensuring maintenance and service work are easy to perform decreases maintenance time and increases the likelihood that it will be done correctly. With that in mind, the TB350R features a wide opening rear engine service door, and a right side cover that opens overhead. These features ensure easy access to daily inspection points like the engine oil dipstick, engine oil filter, coolant reserve tank, dual element air cleaner, fuel filter, fuel water separator, hydraulic oil sight gauge, fuel tank, battery, and cooling module. Both steel constructed hoods are lockable to discourage vandalism and theft. All Takeuchi excavators are equipped with Takeuchi Fleet Management, or TFM. TFM is designed to remotely connect users to their Takeuchi machines. TFM will provide alerts and machine information including location, performance, and maintenance data, giving insights into where and how the excavator is being utilized. TFM has geofencing capabilities that will alert the owner if the machine moves outside the established perimeter for added security and peace of mind. The operator station in the TB350R is spacious, comfortable, and provides excellent visibility. Both canopy and cab configurations feature an automotive-styled interior that is well appointed and include one-touch buttons for various machine functions. Full pilot controls are low effort and precise, improving productivity while reducing operator fatigue, as well as a deluxe high-back suspension seat with adjustments for height, weight, fore, aft, tilt, and seat pan. Canopy configurations include a 4.3-inch high-definition multifunction color monitor. Cab models include a jog dial control as well as 8-inch touchscreen multifunction color monitor with integrated air conditioner, radio, and Bluetooth functions. These monitors allow the operator to observe machine vitals, adjust auxiliary flow, establish attachment presets, and set up multiple operator profiles. We would like to thank you for taking a look at the TB350R. For more information on this machine or any other Takeuchi product, please visit our website at takeuchi-us.com or visit your local dealer for a demo today.
Yeah, of course, if you're watching from the UK, you don't need to go to Takeuchi.us. You can go to Takeuchi UK. Or if you're watching in France, go to Takeuchi France. Or come here and just pop over into one of the neighbouring halls. You'll be able to see them over there. Andy Dalvell, very, very categorical, says anything Takeuchi is hot. I'm inclined to agree with that. Gary Muirhead, don't you love the way the Americans say excavator manufacturers' names? Yeah, to be perfectly honest, this show would be much better, much better if we had an American presenting it instead of which you've got a Londoner. Footy says it's hot. Yes, I agree. We won't do it hot or not, but we will do hot or not in just a moment on a new Magni telehandler. Takeuchi are great machines. We've had one for years, says Jim Turner. Gary Muirhead's raised a question. He says, I wonder if the Chinese manufacturers in America are being blamed for dumping their equipment in their country. You'd have to think, well, there's every likelihood that they will be blamed, but you'd also have to think that if Mr. Trump gets back the keys to the White House, you know, bearing in mind his love of China, you would have to think that might be on the cards as well. Andy Dalvell, pivoting blade, every mini digger should have that as standard. Can't argue with that. Now, I did promise you that Fred would send me an aerial view of the Intermat show. We did this yesterday afternoon, so you may spot some pallets in the aisles and some vehicles in the aisles and stuff, because this was actually shot during the build-up when it was safest to do it, really. But this is what Intermat looks like if you're a seagull. Yeah, it looks pretty good, doesn't it? And as I say, the sun is out again today. It's still not particularly warm, but we're looking good. I'm going to say this. Gary Muirhead just said that rather. Top work, Fred. I don't know what I'm saying to the screen. Top work, Fred. He's there, hiding. Betty Price. Betty Price is actually one of us. She is one of us, not just a random viewer. She is, as you can see there, a lovely morning here in Sheffield. I worked as a secretary in a civil engineering and demolition company, and she's even sent us a couple of kisses. Gentlemen, don't get in the habit of sending me kisses. More than I could possibly bear. Let's have a look. Footy is saying, that's big. Do they give you a quad to drive around to see the place? No, they do not. No, they do not. This is all footwork. I think I did about 14,000 steps yesterday. I think Fred did about 17,000. So, yeah, we properly clocked up the miles yesterday. Should give you an electric scooter. No, they don't give us anything like that. And I'm not entirely sure. I'm of an age now, being 59 years old, I'm of an age where if I were to fall off an electric scooter, which is very, very likely, I would shatter into 1,000 pieces, and my hips, both of them, would be powder. So no, I'm not risking electric scooters. So everything is done by foot, running around, walking, strolling around the place. That's how we get about. Now, we do have more to show you, and I did mention the fact that we're going to show you something new from Magni, and I would like you to discern whether you believe the new telehandler from the fine Italian manufacturer that is Magni. Do you believe this is hot, or do you not? I'd love to get your votes. Sign up in the chat. Gary Muirhead has just said, hot, handy wee tool. He said it with a Scottish accent, obviously, but yes, very handy wee tool. Dan Cullen said, hot. I think he likes the look of that. Andy Darvell has said, looks pretty hot to me. Like the quick hitch, nice and compact. Totally agreed. Dan Cullen has said, oh, that is so hot. Andy here, however, takes a slightly different view. He says, have they made a real one yet, or just a CGI version? I think the last bit that you saw was a real one. I realised the video was CGI, but yes, I think the last bit that you saw was real. And I will be going by the Magni stand at some point in the next couple of days. I will have a look, see if there is a real one there, see if I can touch it and feel it. I mentioned the fact that we are running, strolling, walking around this show. Anybody that's ever done any of these shows will know that you get very, very footsore. And a couple of years ago, my other half, my better half, she would tell you, invested in a pair of Skechers for her feet. And spent about a year telling me how good they were and how comfortable they were and how she could walk for miles without any issues. Took a lot of convincing, but I finally bought a pair, which I then wore out doing exhibitions, and I've got another pair on today. Fred, who is sat not a million miles away from me, he's wearing a pair as well. And just over there, you can't see them, but tucked over there, there's an office full of people from Route 1 Publishing, the publishers of, I can show you, the publishers of magazines, including World Highways and Aggregates Business. There's a whole team of them, and they're all wearing Skechers too. I think the show, particularly when we're coming live from an exhibition, I think the show should be sponsored by Skechers. If anyone from Skechers happens to be watching, please get in touch. I'd like a new pair. Because otherwise, I'm going to have to go do exactly what I did last time, go to Las Vegas for the Mine Expo show, pop down the Las Vegas Strip to the Skechers shop, and invest in another couple of pairs. Just have to be done. Now, we do need to move on, so shall we have a little bit of this? I can answer this one very, very quickly. Dan Cullen saying, any freebies yet, including hats? No, not yet. I mean, the show only opened 2 hours ago, and I've been sat here putting the show together, so I've not actually been out in the field yet. I'm sure they will be coming. I don't know where from, but I'm sure we'll be picking up a few bits and pieces. Anything we do pick up, obviously, will be available in some sort of competition in the not too distant future. Now, if you were watching at the very outset, you will know that I did a very quick intro. We went over to the Komatsu stand yesterday afternoon, and the indoor part where there is a Formula One car, as you know, Komatsu are going to be sponsoring a Formula One car in the coming season. There's a Formula One car on their stand. They've got lots of new equipment dotted around on their indoor booth, but the indoor booth was still under construction. They were still laying carpet and polishing machines and all that kind of thing. So we popped outside. We decided to go outside where the machines, the big machines, the mining machines and the demolition machines were already parked up and looking spick and span. So we had a walk with the beasts. I have to say, I realise I like a demolition machine, but that PC390 HRD-11 What a piece of kit that is. Though literally, I had a long chat with Simon Saunders from Komatsu UK yesterday about all that had gone into the redesign and the manufacture of that. An astonishing machine. Obviously, it's got the K100 system on it for fast boom changes, less than 100 seconds to change from an earth-moving boom to a demolition boom, which is remarkable in itself. But some of the stuff they've done, the electronics that are built into that kind of oil quick style head, so that it alerts the operator that everything is engaged as it should be, but it also triggers the lights. So there are lights mounted on the boom and on the dipper, and that when that boom is aligned, it notifies the cab. The cab then basically turns on the lights should it need. It can even discern if you've got a digging boom, an intermediate boom, and a high reach boom, which we just saw there. The machine can discern between the three, and it will even adjust the auto lube automatically to suit whatever boom you've got on. It's just a work of genius. I think the term game changer has been overused, but that is. Sorry to hear Chris Ford is having issues with the sound today. I must have a problem this morning. Vision but no sound, either on FaceAche or YouTube. Don't know what's going on with that, because everybody else is hearing it, because Jim Turner has just commented. Tune. He liked the tune. So hopefully it will shake itself loose, and Chris, you'll be able to hear my dulcet tones. While you're figuring that out, let me do a bit of this.
Since the finance bill came into effect in April, the construction industry has seen a surge of fuel thefts. The rising cost of living has placed an additional risk of theft by employees and contractors, as well as opportunistic thieves. By using diesel dye and placing warnings of its use, you are sending a clear message that this is your fuel.
The next company we're going to feature is not actually here at the show, as far as I know. I know there are a few of their machines on dealer stands and that kind of thing, but they're not here. But JCB have a new film out, and it's extolling the virtues of their X series machines, obviously topped off recently by the 370X. But this is the customer view of the X series.
The first X series we bought was the 140 to replace the JS 130, and then we needed a bit more power, a bit more weight, and that's why we went down to the 150 route to keep the machine grounded on the floor when we're tackling big trees like this.
They're a faster machine. The capabilities of everything is just good for digging wise, moving stuff.
The power is fantastic, and also to give you that power but also give you really good fuel economy as well is so important.
I've never had a job where it's not had enough power to do what I needed to do. I do like how you've got the extra boost as well on the back of the lever. You press that and it just rips through whatever it needs to rip through.
I'll use the lifting modies when I'm moving stuff. It does take out a lot of the snatchiness as you're tracking, which we need when we're carrying clay pipes. The boom and the slew mode, really like that slew and boom mode. Really good for digging. When we put into the boom, it's just power to the arm.
When grading with other machines, you tend to get a dip as you grade along. But with the X series, with how precise it is and how accurate, it's just perfect, and it stops when I want it to stop, so it doesn't dip.
I find when you're grading with it, they're so smooth and it just comes in so nicely when you're doing final trim work.
I would recommend JCBs to anybody. They're fast, they're reliable.
The JCB X series is fantastic, and you can't get a better machine. We can't wait to get the next batch.
Yeah, it's probably satisfied customer there. We've had a couple of comments. I do want to say good morning to Garvin from Mostly Diggers, who will be here in a day or two's time. So we're looking to meet up with him for a coffee or something a little bit stronger, maybe in his instance. But also we've had a comment over on Instagram from Tristan Mays, that crane guy from Crane Hub. And he has just said, did Nick Drew finally work out how to use an aeroplane? I don't know. Apparently he has. Apparently he's landed. I think he's doing some work with Sunwood, who were just down there, but I haven't seen him yet. But he may well be here, and I just haven't spotted him. But yes, I think he did finally figure out how aeroplanes work. I'm going to offer no more comment than that. But yes, he did have quite a problem yesterday. I think he had one flight cancelled, one that his ticket didn't work on, and all manner of nonsense. So I would imagine he's in a really good mood today if he is here. we shall see. We shall see. Right, people. I've got two more things I want to do. Obviously, want to roll over into the chat to have a proper chat with you about all the stuff that's going on. But the other point as well that I wanted to raise was, we are open to requests. If you have a look at the Intermat website, and there's a manufacturer, one of the frontline manufacturers or one of the lesser known ones, Andy here, I'm looking at you. If there's a particular attachment manufacturer that's here that you'd like to get a close up of, let us know. Let us know either through the WhatsApp group, on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of those things, and I'll go and aim a video camera at it. And we'll bring it to you live on the show, probably this week, but if not this week, we'll do it next week. So we can certainly do that. That pretty much wraps up the main part of this morning's show, and I do need to vacate this computer very, very soon because things to do and places to be, basically. But I'm going to roll this, and then we'll have a very quick natter before I go and do a day's work. So I'll see you after this. Yeah, got the music in the background this time, and it is looping quite nicely. How are we all doing this morning? Good of you to join us. As always, I'm going to go back to the very beginning of the chat, and I know the beginning of the chat began an hour and 55 minutes before I even pressed the go button, and it was Dan Cullen saying good morning and hope you're well. May be able to listen, but not comment. It is what it is, Dan, and I thank you for being here anyway. And there's Andy Darvell saying, "How's Paris?" Paris is fine. Yeah, Paris transport is not the best. Getting around the place is not the easiest, and it's very painfully slow. I think it's particularly the case when you've got the promise of a brand new show opening its doors, and you want to be here and get amongst it and go and see people and see the machines and everything else, and you're sat basically on a bus full of sweaty journalists, trying desperately. You can actually see where you need to be, but you can't get there because you're stuck in traffic. But we got there in the end, and we're all back up and running. Dan Cullen threw this question up very, very early doors. Has an employer got the right to watch you over CCTV while you're at work? I think the consensus was probably, and even if they don't have the right, morally or legally, I think they will probably likely claim that they're doing it for your own good, your own health and safety and what have you. So I'm not entirely sure that's one. I'm not sure that's one of those hills that I'd be willing to die on. I think I'd just let that one slide, basically. There's Andy Darvell saying bonjour. Yeah, bonjour tout le monde. And there's my wife, who doesn't say bonjour because she barely speaks the Queen's English. There's Gary Muirhead. Now, obviously, we've been to see Steve Williamson, who is demonstrating over on the Kinsoffer stand. Tomorrow, I think it is, or certainly the end of this week, Mr. Muirhead will be doing exactly the same job, only he will be doing it with his beloved steel wrist. We're actually off to see steel wrist tomorrow, I think, over here in Paris. Also going to take some time out to go and meet up with the people that are behind the whole Open S Alliance as well. And so we'll be bringing you more about that at some point in the not too distant future. And then we've got a dinner tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow night. We've got a dinner with Komatsu, and apparently there is going to be, I don't know if it's a current or a former Formula One driver is going to be there. Largely lost on me because I don't follow Formula One at all. I'd be more impressed if they brought the famous fisherman along. There aren't too many of those. But yes, I'll be reporting back when I find out exactly who it is. There is Gary says, last day at work today and on the stand tomorrow. Yes, it is tomorrow. Yeah, Scott Plant. If you are heading for Scott Plant, do go and say hello to Gary Muirhead. Go and wave at him while he's doing his operations. I don't know quite what steel wrist I've got planned up there, but they've certainly got the right person behind the levers, because not only is Gary a lover of all things steel wrist, he uses it on a daily basis. He's an absolute advocate. So go say hello. If you are in Scotland, go and say hello to Gary Muirhead. Give him my best regards. There's Chris Ford there. Let's have a look. And yes, finally got to see what Fred looked like on camera. Yes, Steve Williamson. I thought we were filming him. Turns out he was actually photographing us. So yes, if you have a look at Steve Williamson's social media, you will actually get a glimpse of Fred looking somewhat perplexed at being photographed. Nowhere near as perplexed as he was about 5 minutes later when he fell over. He's scowling at me. Good morning, Ken Hatcher. Thank you very much indeed for joining us all the way from Wales. This is where Wales and France meet. It's like the rugby, only nicer. Jim Turner says, go back to the CCTV thing. It's work. Just take it up. Take it as the norm. You're being watched one way or another. Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. Absolutely right. And no idea where those balloons came from. I can only imagine that maybe I have passed some sort of landmark with the streaming platform that I've used, because I didn't trigger it. I've got some animations, including things like our welcome confetti and stuff. I have no balloons. There is nothing I can do on this show that will make balloons appear, and yet, as Andy Darvell can confirm, they absolutely did. Yes, we're talking about French people. Struggling to remember too many, I have to be honest. Gary Muirhead is going with Fred from Gordon, Fred and Gino. Jean Reno, which was one of my choices. Andy Darvell going with Jean Reno in Leon, an excellent film. I totally agree. It's one of those that I can keep going back to as well. More than happy to watch that again and again. Andy Darvell, Gary Oldman is in anything is amazing. He's fantastic in Slow Horses on Apple TV. It's a bloody brilliant series. 100% agree. He's he looks like he stinks to high heaven in Slow Horses. He looks all sweaty and dishevelled, but man alive, fantastic actor. Love me a bit of Gary Oldman. There we are, back to the CCTV again. Yes, Jim, if you're doing anything wrong, if you're doing nothing wrong, rather, you've nothing to worry about, 100%. Chris Ford, famous French people that we like. In my younger years, Brigitte Bardot, yeah, she had some fine points. She most certainly did, as I said. And I apologise. I mean, obviously, Brigitte Bardot tunes into the show on a regular basis, so I will apologise when I said she was ravaged by age, but, you know, she is. Question of the day, Andy Darvell. I'm hoping, I mean, obviously my wife is watching, and on a regular basis, Jim Turner's wife is watching. I'm hoping yours isn't, because he came back with a certain French woman I met in Croatia when I was young, free and single. Many fun times were had. Expect to see that in your memoirs, Andy, when you get around to writing it. Lou Carney, you know, fashion icon that she is, has gone with Coco Chanel. It's a good shout. Let's have a look. Dan Cullen is going back to his old French teacher. I had a French teacher back in when I was at school, taught me nothing and was an absolute hag of them. I'm safely saying that she'll be long dead by now, but yes, an absolute. What's her name? I can't remember. It'll come to me. No. Chasseur. Yes, Mademoiselle Chasseur. Man alive, what a harridan she was. Andy Hare says, some of the worst meals I've ever experienced have been in Paris. Bloody awful. Yeah, it is a weird thing. It is a weird thing. And I mean, listen, one of the reasons I travel, one of the reasons I enjoy travel is because of the food. But at no point have I woken up here in Paris, and I've done that a couple of times now, and thought, yes, must get me some coq au vin on board. Didn't even occur to me. Maybe we'll get around to it. See how we go. There's Andy Darvell saying, bonjour, Fred. He's miming bonjour back. With two fingers, actually. The less said about that, the better. Let's have a look. Don't you just love the way Americans say excavator manufacturers' names? I like the way Americans say anything. They're just so upbeat. We only have one equivalent to that in this business, I think, and that's Peter Haddock, who could well be an American if it wasn't for his accent. But yeah, that level of enthusiasm, I think, shines through. Takeuchi are great machines. Yes, totally agree with that. We've had one for years. Says Jim Turner. Gary Muirhead has raised a question about dumping in America. Let me do that again, about dumping machines in America. Yeah, I think assuming Mr. Trump gets the keys back to the White House, you would have to think that he will take his usual stance of, if it wasn't built here, I'm not having it. So I'm sure more work will be done on his infamous wall to keep out all those pesky Mexican rapists that he bangs on about. And I would imagine he would take a similarly dim view of Chinese excavators as well. Pivoting Blade says, every mini digger should have that as standard. I'll have a look around, see how many have actually got it as standard. And there is our new friend, Betty Price. Betty Price. That's what's been lacking. Not enough women around here. My wife doesn't count because She only watches to wind me up. But Lou Carney can't be the sole female forever. So Betty Price, you're more than welcome. Thank you for being here. There's Gary Muirhead saying, top work, Fred. Yeah, the drone, I have to say, the drone footage did look very, very good indeed. Not entirely sure about the legality of it. Obviously, the drone that we use is below the regulated weight limit. So from that perspective, it was absolutely fine. But we are literally a couple of miles away from Paris Charles de Gaulle. So I don't know if the gendarmes arrive later. I'll be here tomorrow. I should just throw Fred under the bus. So the footage will be crap, but I'll still be here. Let's have a look. Looks pretty damn hot to me, like the quick hitch. That was the Magni. No freebies yet, I'm afraid, Dan, but I will be looking out for them, and I will give you a shout once I've got that all sorted out. Let's have a look. A quick reboot, and now all good. So Chris Ford is now hearing us. There's Ed Butler. Morning, Ed. Enjoy the show, Mark and Fred. Get some good shots of my partner in crime. Gutted I couldn't make it. We will do our level best. I think we've already... Have we filmed Steve yet? No, we haven't filmed Steve yet, but we will be doing that. And I'm rather hoping it will generate a blooper reel or something like that, because it generally does. Dan Cullen, if you see any good caps, don't forget, Dan, you are forever on my mind. Don't worry about that. Is Muttley Demarec Kinsoffer there? If so, can you film them, please? My favourite attachment brand. Well, I can tell you that Kinsoffer are here. Kinsoffer are here in as much as Steve Williamson is actually operating for them. He's doing the demonstration. So, yeah, Kinsoffer are most certainly here. Obviously, Muttley is the UK importer. So they're not here as well. They may be here in person, but not here with the stand. And Demarec, I think, will probably be part of the Kinsoffer display. So, yes, in answer to your question, they are here in spirit, if not in... that's an interesting one. Maybe the balloons are for reaching 100,000 subscribers. Have I? Have I reached 100,000 subscribers? Fred just went, no, you haven't. You're rubbish. Let's have a look. How many are we at? I can tell you we are currently at 99,980. We're still 20 shy. So, yeah, no idea where the balloons came from. Apparently, it is my eldest son's girlfriend's birthday today. Happy birthday, Scott. I won't. It's a whole thing. I won't bore you with it. Peter McKenna is here, and he is now a compactor driver. Who knew? Andy Darvell, how very rude, Fred. He basically communicates with gestures and grunts. You're lucky you only got that one, trust me. Only thing I learned in French at school was how a teacher preferred doggy style to missionary. Is that right? I probably should have read that before I actually said it out loud, but thank you for being here. And Dan Cullen has just said, welcome Becky. She's a Betty, but you're on the... thank you for welcoming you. Have a wonderful time at the show. Stay safe, guys. See Gary Friday or Saturday. Look, let me know how it goes. Gary, keep me informed. I hope all goes well with Scott Plant. And there's Ed Butler. Spent a bit of time on the phone to him yesterday on FaceTime, going through the Knox Prop Plus system and getting set right. Yeah, well, listen, we popped past there yesterday, only for about 5 minutes, just to make sure he was all hunky-dory, and he was firing on all cylinders and on fine form as well. His other half is now back in Bonnie, Scotland, so he's got the city to himself. What could possibly go wrong with that? Right, people, that's going to do me, because I need to be elsewhere. I promised you that I would bring you footage from Intermat, and so far I brought you one stand, and I've only brought you a part of the one stand. So I do need to get on my sketches, head out the door, and go and film some more for tomorrow. I'll be back, all things being equal, tomorrow, 10 a.m. your time, 11 a.m. my time, assuming the bus gets here in under 2 hours. I'll do my best. Until then, everybody, have a fantastic day. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for all your comments. As Andy Darvell is going to sign off for this. Have a good day, guys. Great show, Mark. 1.5 days left at Mick George till I'm at the mighty AR Demolition. As when you come back as an AR person, I will be giving you the confetti. And I'll be back in the office by then, and I will even be able to trigger the applause. I can't do that from here because I don't have the device, but I'll do that as well. So everybody, go and have a fantastic day. As always, You know what I say at this point in time. Look after yourself, your family, your friends, and your colleagues. Stay safe. I'll see you again very, very soon. Till then, everybody, have a good day. Walking the dog and praying, says Chris Ford. Don't know what he's praying for, but may your wishes come true. I don't know what that is. I've never done that before in my life. Everybody, have a fantastic day. See you soon. See you tomorrow. All the best.